Greetings and welcome back. This is Iris Heath coming to you to talk about 3 things to consider when you are at a crossroads. So, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 tell us trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. So, let's get right to it. My first point says sit with the Lord. So that's where that trust comes in. I'd like to encourage you and remind you pray and meditate. The word says, make your request known unto the Lord. Have you told Him out of your mouth, out of your heart, out of your mind and your thoughts? Yes, God is all knowing. He knows everything. He's all present, all knowing. And He already knows before we say it, before we think it. He's already there. He's walking with us. And so that is something that occurs at times. And so I'd like to ask you, Pastor Rick Warren in his message last week stated, God has us in a holding pattern, but delay does not mean denial. Oh my goodness. I heard that and thought, oh my goodness, you are so on my street. I pulled an article from Forbes magazine, and it's from a individual. The author was Caroline Castrillon. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'll put her information in the description. I thought her article on what to do when you're at a career crossroads was excellent. And so I brought her points and I'm linking them up with my own, but definitely giving her credit. So Miss Castrillon calls the first point, my sit with the Lord, she calls it look inward. So again, I'll give you the information so you can go and look at the article for yourself. I think it would be worthwhile, especially if this is something you're dealing with. My second point is write it down. Yes. Oh my goodness. Write it down. Okay, this is my intentional pen. Write it down. Take time and write the pros, write the cons. Write anywhere from 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 pros, 1 to 3, 1 to 5 cons. And what I mean by that is what's positive, what's negative about this opportunity, so that as you sit with the Lord, He has something to work with you on, because you already have the answer. Many times we don't even realize this. I have been so guilty of this. My training says that we are expert of ourselves, meaning we get to see, we get to we're with ourselves. We get to see how we respond to things. We get to see our likes, our dislikes. And so we bring that to the table. We bring that to every experience. And what I'd like to encourage you to do is write it down. Miss Castrillon says, explore possibilities. And so that's her way of stating it. And number 3, be honest with yourself. Please don't put on rose-colored glasses. What I mean by that is, don't make something better than it really is. As we are honest with what is happening, either in the present, so currently, or what has happened in the past. If it was a past job or an agency you worked with or for, if they didn't treat you well, if they didn't pay you on time, if they didn't respect you and the work that you were doing, do you think anything's changed? Now it's possible. We're in a pandemic. They're calling it post-pandemic, so I'll go with that. And yet, unless there's been a change in management, a change in supervision, a change in mindset or mission statement, more than likely, if you go back to that agency, you're going to get the same thing. So really be honest with what you received. Were the hours good or were they bad? If that is the case, weigh that. Talk to a trusted friend, and not just any friend, someone who may be understanding of your profession that will help them to be able to give you not just an opinion. And there's nothing wrong with your friend giving you an opinion, but they'll be able to give you a more educated opinion, meaning they'll have something to base it on. I hope that you're flowing with what I'm saying. So get some people around you, yes, some like-minded people, hopefully of the same sex, meaning if you're female, get females around you. And yet, I know there are people who tell me they have people of the opposite sex who are their friends or their best friends. That's another YouTube. But what I would ask you to do in that situation is also make sure in that support system, in that circle, that you have at least one individual who knows what you do, meaning they've either done it or something similar, so that they can better advise you. And it's not just coming out of a place of their opinion, but it's coming out of a place of knowledge, understanding. As the word tells us, in all things get understanding. So I those are and so what was shared in the article was call putting yourself first. Thank you. So she says put yourself first, and she is very accurate. We do not always like putting ourselves first. We haven't always been taught to put ourselves first, or even how to put ourselves first. And I'd like to encourage you, start practicing, because this goes back to the mindset of putting your oxygen mask on so that you can assist people around you, so that you're not passing out or losing consciousness and not able to get your mask on, which would keep you actually from helping those around you. If you have a gift of helps, I call it, sometimes we can't help ourselves, be careful, because there's a need to set appropriate, healthy boundaries to allow us to really do the work that we are called to do. So, Miss Castrillon actually gives a few more points. I'm going to state them quickly. She says, find support. I agree with her 100%. There is usually a need to ask for help or accountability or to join a team. If you are able, consider finding the right team for you. Consider if you need to pay for it or do some research and find out what's the best team for me in order to accomplish this goal that I have. I've had to do the same more recently, and it's actually paying off. It's really encouraging and motivating. The next is envision the life that you want. Oh my goodness, do I even need to say anything about that? Dream or dream again. I'd like to give her last point that I have here. Put yourself out there. I wrote next to it, send out some more resumes, send out some more applications. I have a saying that I created, so copyright. um, I actually created a saying, you may be one application away from your future. So don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Get the people on your team, let them know. Have someone check on you each week to see how you're doing. Send a text, tell on yourself, let someone know where you are. You can do this. You can do this. I'm going to put the information in the description, because the article itself was more detailed than what we have time for. Continue to be encouraged, continue to be blessed, and be well. All right. Have a great weekend.